Ezekiel Thompson and Anne-Marie Jessica were lovers, good friends. They became friends before Total Drama, and Anne-Marie was pretty much glad that Ezekiel was actually alive. Both of them started dating before and after Total Drama, Revenge of the Island. But Ezekiel, he had it worse. His mind was a little bit twisted and a bit screwed up, which made him say some sexist things that got him voted off first, both in the first season and third season. Ezekiel came from a farm family in the north. But when he was actually sick, they took him to the research lab, and this is what they did to him. The more they had experiments on him, he became the monster they see in the show. He was given too much experiments, and it made his body twisted, psychopathic, and almost feral. They called it feral Zeke, a monstrous sight that made him lose his mind and turned him into a monster. But that didn't matter. They still cared about each other. Anne-Marie didn't actually care about what he looked like, and that's all he ever wanted. Even after they found out they were androids, due to the whole experiments, and they were taken away to Pocketel research, they still stay close with each other. Speaking of that research, they also made some serious and extremely risky moves to the androids. They were used as test subjects in a pretty violent and very brutal way. Which is why they made their research with twins. Only 2 sets of twins were on the islands, and they were abused hard. But Sammy and Amy, they got the worst. These two always had a sibling rivalry with each other, but after getting terminal illnesses, turned into androids unwillingly, without them noticing or in realizing, their personalities got worse, and they began fighting. Amy became insane and abusive, while Sammy had her name changed to Sammy by Gordon, and she was forced to have that name for her entire life. She did not like that at all. And she became timid, but soon learned how to grow a backbone. But she had to deal with Amy's abusiveness all the time.
Just get it in the tube already! I'm the beauty and the brains. You're the doer of stuff that stinks.
And this would go on for the rest of their lives. There was nothing they wouldn't try in that place. They even cloned the contestants, and what came out was children. It took us a moment to realise what she had done. would you clone them? They came out as children, but they couldn't. But you couldn't ignore it. Think of the possibilities. These children are basically flesh and blood, with brains, organs, lungs, and all sorts of things that a human needs. And later on, when Fresh TV took an interest, they made a TV series in 2018, and that brought back the franchise. When the TV series ended, when the TV series started, children around the world were liking it, and everybody wanted to meet the Total Drama gang. I became the host of this Muppet Babies ripoff for a while until it ended. Chris and I actually popped up onto the wall, and we actually took part in it. But like the contestants, there was problems. Since they were basically only clones, they started vomiting, having accidents, and basically getting sick all the time. Those who worked for Miss Tweedy had nothing to towards the children. They worked too hard. They were forced to clean up their own mess after each episode. It was horrifying, and it made me wonder, why was this even happening? Why would they torture innocent children? Is there no justice? But basically, Pockettail Research also served as a refugee place from another threat. Something much worse than the scientists at Pockettail Research. Interns. They started off as people on work experience, helpers. They were loyal. What was the harm in that? But behind the scenes, it was much worse. They may look innocent on the show, but they had their own sick, twisted dreams. And when I mean sick, I mean really sick. Every night after work, they would come by and abuse the contestants. That was their sick dream, just abusing them. I won't even tell you half the things they did to them. Some even got permanent jobs. So they worked for us for quite some time. But after Total Drama went on hiatus, they went into hiding until a few years later. And it'll be 5 years until the franchise had a new season.